morning!
To the goofball army out there, hi at the families, tell them to get to the next room, tell them to go to your neighbors, because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink, because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, oof.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
Me, I'm Rob. Let's get the show on the road.
Let's get it on the road, guys. And let's make sure we hit that thumbs up while we're on the road as well as we keep this video going here. So, listen, we got a lot to go over with you guys. We're going to talk about free agency candidates for the Giants to potentially be interested in, specifically talking about offensive players here. So we have a lot to go over. We have a lot of people that actually have a lot of connections to Giants. We're talking not just Harbaugh, we're talking Greg Roman, we're talking Joe Shane, we're talking all kinds of people here. And there's a lot of guards. Surprisingly, have connections that you would never thought of, actually. So kind of interested to go over this with you guys, see what you guys think here. So we're also going to go over some minor moves as well, because we do have some bottom of the barrel kind of roster decisions we do have to make as well here, and some additions we might have to make. So let's get right into it, guys.
Let's go.
All right. Now, first off, before we start, I do have to also apologize to Deb, because I accidentally scheduled it for 4:45, and she was in there, and she was in the comments section. So I don't know what happened. When you first go to set it up, StreamYard, the program that does it, creates an automatic time, and I forgot to manually change it. So that's on me. I'll take the blame. It wasn't Rob this time that was like 5 hours. So we're going to go kind of position by position with the offense here, guys, and go over what we need and what we don't need here, so to speak. So quarterback, obviously, is where we're going to start. And let's be honest here. We have a quarterback. We got Jackson Dart. We're good there. We got a backup quarterback in Jameis Winston, so I'm not too worried about that. I think the big thing for us is that we do need to look at getting potentially a third quarterback. The big thing is going to be, do they want to get just a low-cost free agent? Do they want to go ahead and just draft one at that point there? There's a couple options they're going to have. I personally don't want to draft one. Like, I'm good. Like, I want draft, picks to be used towards getting depth. This team has a whole lot of depth it needs. I'm going to call for it now. And I'm not so sure he'd be for it necessarily if he has a chance to be on a roster, but why don't we just bring back Tommy DeVito? He's got to be a free agent again. It just didn't look right for him being in a Patriots uniform.
It didn't, but he also came up with some pretty reliable commercials last year.
I'm just saying, like,
aggressive.
You need a third quarterback. There's one sitting there. He already knows the teammates and all. May not know the coaching staff. He knows the teammates. We'll see. Or maybe Harbaugh has a buddy of his that he decides to bring back. Who knows? But we do need to get a third quarterback. And like I said, I'd rather sign one than go ahead and get one via the draft to not waste a pick. But, let's get like a undrafted rookie free agent, which is what DeVito was a couple of years ago.
I was about to say, that's probably the market where I want to start spending the money and the capital at, because you don't want to spend the draft pick, or you don't want to spend too much on the third string. Even if it's a veteran minimum for your third string, like QB is a costly position.
Yeah, so like I said, just food for thought there. Keep in mind, we're going to pick up a quarterback at some point in some way, shape, or form. Who knows? Running back. Now, this is where it's a potential need. If we do cut Devin Singletary, which I personally expect, if we cut him, we're going to need a third running back. Now, again, it comes into the do we draft one or do we sign one kind of conversation. I can really see the pros and cons on both, because if you go ahead and get a backup, a veteran backup. Well, now you have insurance if Scadaboo doesn't come back 100% or gets hurt. Tracy gets hurt, both the years he's played. So, we definitely need to potentially look at this might be in a more important third running back position than other teams. Now, you could draft one, and that be potentially the cheaper option, obviously. But now you have a little more of a crapshoot.
Depending what they do with, I honestly can see them doing both. Yes, you can sit there and draft one, let them sit there in the practice squad a little bit, and go ahead and get yourself a veteran guy that is reliable, but not reliable enough to start the team. This way, let's be honest, we know they're going to use Tracy and Scadaboo.
Yep,
quite a bit. Yep, and in and out, and not Turbo. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do both.
Yeah. So we got a couple of running backs here I thought made some sense based on the coaching staff. You got J.K. Dobbins, who's still just 27 years old. I feel like he's been playing in the NFL forever.
It's because he's been injured forever.
Yeah. And we're going to definitely gonna have that part of the conversation here. Now, I should give everybody a heads up to Spotrac. I'm using them for the estimate on there. And they got a couple of estimates on these guys here. $2.55 million are saying. This last year with the Broncos, 10 games, 153 rushes, 772 yards, 5 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns, 11 catches, 37 yards. But the issue is the injury prone. Like you said, he's always hurt. He's always injured. But he played for Harbaugh in Baltimore, obviously, with Greg Roman there. He played for Greg Roman with the Chargers as well when they brought him in when Jim Harbaugh went there as well. So there's definitely the Harbaugh connection there pretty easily. I think the big thing for me is, would he want to come here? Because, again, 10 games, 772 yards. So he was on
more yards than he had in a while.
1,100, 1,200 yard season.
Yeah, because he was the number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, he was the workhorse for Denver until he got hurt.
Well, I'm saying even for Baltimore before they picked up
they kept trying. They kept trying to make him one, but
because he kept getting hurt.
And that's where I thought might be interesting for him with the Giants, though, too, because if you're one of 3 running backs, you're not as getting beat up on, and you're not going to necessarily get hurt. Let's be honest, he's injury prone. Like we're trying to have that honest discussion. Like, this is not the guy that you're going to sit there and go, oh, well, we can count on him to be healthy the whole season. We don't know what's going to happen with him, And if you have him as a third running back, you increase that chance.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we'll see. We'll see what they do there. Kareem Hunt, who's 30 years old. I feel like he feels younger to me than J.K. Dobbins, but he's 30 years old now. Spotrac's got him listed at $1.94 million as his potential average. They give it the average annual value of his contract. But let's be honest, most running backs, especially 30 years old, get a 1-year deal. This past year with the Chiefs, 17 games, 163 yards. 163 rushes for 611 yards. It's a 3.7 yard per carry average, 8 touchdowns. 18 catches, 143 yards, and 1 touchdown. Obviously, played for Matt Nagy last year in Kansas City since Nagy was the offensive coordinator. Another twist to it here, and this guy's going to pop up a couple times. He was signed in Cleveland when Dennis Hickey was the Giants' assistant director of player person. Who is the Giants' assistant director of player personnel. Back then, he was the VP of player personnel for the Browns. So there's also a front office connection along with the coaching staff connection. Now, the biggest issue with him, besides the fact that he's 30 years old, is there have been some police blotter action, shall we say, with him in the past.
I was going to say that I don't see the Giants going towards him
just
because of his history. Granted, he may have, I don't know what the correct term is, fixed his past issues, if you will, and he may have become a better person, but the Giants usually tend to stay away from the spotlight. They normally take a big old kick out the door.
Yeah.
When it comes to hire people like him.
Yeah. I definitely I don't remember the exact.
He kicked his girlfriend. And
yeah, I know this thing with women, and I'm thinking in my head like
he pretty much punted his girlfriend's head when she was drunk in a hotel.
Yeah,
and the video footage was horrendous.
I'm just thinking in my head too, like, do the Giants want any kind of backlash with the Tisch stuff going on too, as well? Like, would that affect their thought process of that? You know what I mean?
I think so. Even if there wasn't the Tisch issue, like that's typically the player they don't try to hire.
Correct. No, you're not wrong there. But what I'm saying is, again, we got Harbaugh. He's making a lot of calls, so who knows what, you know what I mean? Like, what would that still be the case? I just feel like they would avoid him.
Yeah,
I just do. But like I said, we got to put him there as a potential because of the issues there, being there, but still at the same point, you got a connection there with Matt Nagy, knowing him obviously, and listen, he can vouch for him. You know, Andy Reid also. I mean, obviously Harbaugh can talk to Andy Reid if he wants to know about him as a person. But I'll tell you this: if I'm the Giants, I'm with you. I'm staying clear of this guy for those reasons alone. I remember bits and pieces of the story. I don't want to look the whole thing up because we haven't signed him. Trust me, if we were to sign him, we'd be visiting the whole story.
Yeah. Well, so it was a whole big thing because, apparently the Chiefs tried to hide it.
Yeah.
Because he was playing very well. He was their number one. So it's
that's what happens all the time when you're playing good for a team and you want to play for that team. Everything gets hidden. Just ask Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
That never came out until he asked for a trade from the Texans. Same as Tucker. Never came out until all of a sudden he stopped being a good kicker.
Yeah.
That's the way the NFL works. We don't, none of us like it, but we can at least admit it. I got one more interesting one for you. The one that Father Time forgot. Raheem Mostert. He's 33 years old, which is like 75 years old in running back years. They're saying $1.29 million. Now, he didn't have as big a year this year with the Raiders. Again, with obviously the Dolphins the last couple of years. With the Niners for a few years as well. So 12 games this past year, only 22 rushes, 104 yards, the 4.7 yard per carry average, 12 catches, 70 yards. And I'm just thinking like he could be the veteran guy in the room. And hear me out. Scatterboo. We're worried about him longevity-wise. Who better to teach about longevity than Raheem Mostert?
Yeah. Of the three that we just talked about, I think this is most likely for multiple reasons. The veteran status, the ability to teach in a different way than your coach can. Because as 33 years old, as a running back, you made a joke. That's 75 as a running back. That's how you teach Scatterbo and actually Jackson Dart as well. Hey, don't take 70 cents. This is how you play as long as in this NFL. He's also
he's going to be 34, by the way, in 2 months. He'll be 34 for the season.
He's also going to be the cheaper option, and he's never had like some kind of scandal. He's always kept his head, into work and just did what he had to do. So seems like a genuine good guy. He was with the Raiders behind Jenny this past year. So Genty, yeah,
not Jenny. Jenny's
John.
But listen, I think the big thing with this whole thing about getting a third running back is, would the Giants want to draft one? And that's the big question there, because they have a lot of needs. There's a lot of depth issues in this team. There's a lot of people that are free agents on this team. And that's the question. And like I said, we said it in the beginning, they could easily draft somebody that wouldn't shock us at all. They could also go ahead and sign somebody that wouldn't shock us. I think either way, we know we're getting a running back. Again, assuming they cut Singletary, which I think they're dumb if they don't.
I'm pretty sure.
No offense to Singletary there, but he's getting way overpaid. Like he's getting paid more than pretty much any running back free agent this year would get paid.
Yeah. What's his over cap? 5 this year?
I think 6. 6, yeah. That's a lot of money for a running back.
So you literally can get Mozart, you can get Scatterboo, and you can also get Tracy for the same value, cheaper.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's just that time there. Fullback, we've already mentioned this guy a couple times, so I don't want to beat this horse dead here. But Patrick Ricard, 31 years old. Spotrax eventually is giving him a $2.87 million average annual value. Again, it's played for Harbaugh since 2017. We think that it makes a lot of sense if he wants to leave. Leave it there. It's a fullback. Here's the big one I think that a lot of people want to talk about. Wide receiver. We know that Wan'Dale Robinson obviously is a free agent. We also know there's some people who think that he may not stay. There are some people who think he will stay. There's both sides have valid points. Let me be very clear on that. You're paying Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a volume catcher, like a top flight receiver potentially if you get him. You're going to pay him like $17, $18 million a year. That's what they're saying.
Which is almost not top flight pricing anymore. That's medium high price, not top flight.
It's like bottom level 1, high level 2, basically. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the question is, or do you consider him there? Some people do, some people don't. We like him, and I would take him, knowing that in a year or two, that's going to seem like a cheap contract anyway.
Yeah.
But there are people who don't. And the big thing is we don't know what John Harbaugh thinks. We don't know what Matt Nagy thinks. Though I think he's built for Matt Nagy's offense.
I really do.
Yeah. So we got a couple of lists here. We got potential replacements for Wan'Dale as a category. We also have potential depth because let's be very frank here. We need to go ahead and get additional receivers, regardless if we keep or don't keep Wan'Dale. How many times this year we have issues getting receivers in the field? We know that a lot of y'all don't like Slayton. He's overpaid. We know that for sure. It might be his last year.
I think so.
We don't have much past him. So let's go over both options here. So number one, this guy I hear a lot of people talking about for the Giants. Alex Pierce, 25 years old. Spotrac saying his estimate is going to be $20.24 million. This past year with the Colts, 47 catches, 1,003 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, the big thing is he's 25 years old again. So that's a key thing right there. He's young. He's still developing. But correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. Don't we see receivers come out every year? Like balling?
We do. I don't know if I want to pay that guy.
We're going to pay a guy who took his 4th year to get to 1,000 yards, just like Wan'Dale, by the way. But we're going to pay him more money potentially. And on top of that, he only had 47 catches. That's the long ball right there, guys. That is not the offense we're doing. So I bring him up as the list here, but I bring it up more to shut it down. He's averaging 21.3 yards per reception. That is not the way this offense is going to be run. Just look at what we have in there. Look at the 2 powerhouses, so to speak, in there. I guess you could say 3 if you want to include Callahan. Callahan's the one guy that can give you a little bit of deep shots based on his offense he's ran. Greg Roman's known for runs. Yeah, Greg Roman's known for runs. Matt Nagy's known for short, quick passes and heavy use of tight ends and running backs. I don't think that's going to happen, guys. And I don't think he's fit as for the offense the same way that Wan'Dale is. I really don't. I mean, to give you an idea of how crazy his depth is, 47 catches, 41 first downs.
That's so crazy.
That's an insane stat. And don't get me wrong, good player, moves the sticks. I'm not against him. I'm against him for this offense. And I'm also
he's going to go?
Where?
He's going to go to the Chiefs.
I don't think the Chiefs have money for him, dude. They don't have money.
They'll figure it out.
You want to know who the Chiefs will get? And I didn't even put him on this list, even though we got cut today. Watch Tyreek Hill try to go back there. He got cut by the Dolphins today. Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb both got cut by the Dolphins. So, by the way, in case somebody hasn't heard that news. Yeah. But I didn't put him on the list. Tyreek Hill is wasted. He's done. He's older. He's expensive. That doesn't make sense to the Giants. But I would see the Chiefs. Yeah. So, but like I said, I think Pierce is that guy that's better off with a deep throw kind of offense. He's like a better version of Darius Slayton with obviously better hands.
I was about to say, He catches way
that
more.
style receiver, we don't need one of those. That doesn't work. We've talked about in the show how many times that the biggest thing we need to get out of Jackson Dart is a better deep ball. You know? So to me, it's like I just don't see that as a fit. Then we got Rashid Shaheed. Of course, you guys saw him there in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks there. 27 years old. I couldn't believe he's 27. I thought he was just in the league like 2-3 years.
I know. I was thinking like 4. Was it one of those COVID ones?
I guess. $14.12 million is the average annual value for him based on Spotrac. Last year spent with the Saints and the Seahawks. Obviously, the Giants, we saw him when we played the Saints this year. That we want to forget that game. Played 18 games the way it worked out with the trade. 59 catches, 687 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he's a speedy guy. Like, that's 100% what his game is speed, and more speed. Good on special teams. But again, I just don't think he fits what we do as an offense. Well, at least what I'm anticipating. I should word it that way. What I'm anticipating we're going to do as an offense. I think our offense, you got to think of the way the offense has been under Dable, but like better, obviously. But, those short passes, like you didn't see these guys throwing the ball down the field very often. You did a couple times. It wasn't like it was forgotten, but it wasn't something that was normal. That's what I think you're going to see still. That's the way these offenses are for these guys we have here. Again, minus Callahan, who did it because, quite frankly, he had Chase and Burrow and Higgins. I mean, who's not going to throw the ball deep
all day long?
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't necessarily think he's a good fit for us there. Now, those are the 2 top young guys that are on there. And that's why I look at this and think we're going to probably re-sign Wan'Dale Robinson. Besides the fact that he's got the connection with Jackson Dart, besides the fact that, he fits the offense better than those top 2 guys. But there's a chance, I see Captain Chaos there in the chat saying Tennessee's going to offer Wan'Dale a bag. They might.
What kind of bag?
You know the bag. The bag with 2 bundles of cash. But there's a couple other guys. There are a couple other guys. Here's a guy that the question is how much is left in the tank here. Mike Evans, 32 years old. They're saying that he's going to Spotrac saying $13.31 million. Now, he had his worst year of his entire career by far this past year. So, the question is, was it an injury thing for just this 1 year? Is this going to be the new normal for him? But he had 8 games, 30 catches, and 368 yards and 3 touchdowns. Doesn't take a complete genius to have to go figure out if you double that. He's got 60 catches and, just over 700 yards, like 750 yards, basically, we'll say, to make it easy.
Yeah. I agree with Jay. Sit there. I don't think he's leaving Tampa Bay. I think last year had a lot to do with injuries, and he was fighting through injury, and just the collapse of Tampa Bay the second half of the year did not help his status whatsoever. I think he comes back, he has a better year with Tampa Bay.
I think personally, it's a matter of, do they want to go ahead and keep him in Tampa Bay? That's the question. Because he seems to want to continue playing. And I just don't know.
If they're willing to sign Shepard, they're going to sign Evans.
But they'll figure it out. What I'm just saying, though, overall, he's a guy that, you look at his past couple of years, just over 1,000 yards in 14 games, 1,200 yards in 17 games, 1,100 yards in 15 games. He's had occasional injuries at this point in his career because he's in his 30s. He hasn't had an issue like this. The big question, again, keep in mind, guys, I do live in the Tampa Bay area. I got friends that cover the stuff for the Bucs. Literally, one of my buddies actually goes down to the field post game and does post game shows right from there. So, I do know what's going on with the Bucs. And I feel like they're on the fence what to do because you can't get them cheap. And that's what it boils down to, is every single player reaches a point in their career where the team that values them the least is the one they've played for forever. And that's a sad statement of truth. Like, we all look at it going, this is Mike Evans. This is a 12-year future Hall of Famer. Because I'm sorry, he is a future Hall of Famer for those who disagree. He is a guy who literally went for records that only Jerry Rice has gotten, getting 11 seasons in a row of 1,000 yards.
Absolutely crazy.
But the Bucs look at him as, is he done? Is he washed up? Is this a smart investment to keep paying this guy money? Especially when they just drafted a rookie receiver who had a better than expected rookie year. So that's where the question comes into be is it a possibility that the Bucs say, you know what, it's just time. We appreciate the 12 years, but it's time. And I think that's what it takes for him to hit the market. But now it's, would he be interested in coming to the Giants? Or would he just say, I don't want to play for anybody else and just hang it up? I don't know. I don't know him personally. Now, we mentioned Dennis Hickey before, who had the connection to, Kareem Hunt when he was playing. When Kareem Hunt was signed by the Chargers there. The Browns. Dennis Hickey was the GM was GM with the Bucs when they drafted Mike Evans. So yeah, they really do have a connection to him right in the front office, a guy that knows him very well. So maybe that's an upper hand. I don't know. Again, it just depends on that. And Jay's right when he says the Bucs are historically pretty loyal to players because, quite frankly, they don't have a lot of players to be loyal to.
Yeah,
they don't have I think the Giants do.
And I feel like Mike Evans is the type of player that he might take the pay cut.
I don't disagree with you there. But where did Warren Sapp end his career? The Raiders. Where did John Lynch end his career? The Broncos. Just because you're an all-time great Buck doesn't mean you stay a Buck forever. So loyalty has its limits where they go, you know what? Again, that's what I'm saying. Unfortunately, the team you've been with forever values. It's the same as all of us. How many of us have ever gone looking for a job and we find out some other job is willing to pay us a lot more money than this, doing the same exact job we do now?
Yeah, new market, new me. Let's go.
That's what happens. This is what happens. So, one more we got. And this one, I'm kind of curious your thoughts, Rob, because you're going to be probably the two of us much more knowledgeable than I am on him. Romeo Doubs, 25 years old. Spotrac's got an annual average value of him of $12 million. Last year with the Packers, 7 games, 42 catches, 425 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, I've heard a lot of rumors coming out of Green Bay about personality fit issues, shall we say? So, what do you think? You do, like I said, you do give him a watch on him.
I haven't heard much about the personality issues, but he's also the guy the fan base says, it's kind of Captain Clutch over there. Granted, stats don't show it, but big moments, key moments, he's the guy that you can rely on to get you some big plays when need be. Don't have some injuries, plus you have a cool helmet this year.
I do have to clarify. I gave him a wrong line on stats apparently for him. 16 games, 55 receptions, 724 yards, and 6 touchdowns. I was looking at. I actually gave his rookie stats by accident. I wrote down the stats for the year. So but a good receiver. But what do you think about his game? Does it fit with?
I think so because he's also he's very versatile. Need to play downfield, he'll play downfield. Need him to do a quick slant, he'll do a quick slant. Like need him to run on the outside, he'll run on the outside. Need him down the middle, he'll run down the middle. He's a guy that's a utility player. Like he's a good route runner. He's not the fastest guy out there. He's short and stout. He's pretty strong. But he take a Tide Pod. No, he's kind of like he's kind of like a better version of Zay Hodgins.
Okay. And we know it happened to Hodgins, obviously. So when he came in, but what about the issues with him locker room wise? Is that a team issue?
I haven't heard anything. It might be a team issue.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. That'll just be me speaking out of my tuchus, and I'm sitting on it, so I'm not going to speak out of it.
Yeah, I know he was not this season, but prior season, he was suspended for a game for conduct detrimental to the team. He has skipped a couple practices and meetings. But that was him being upset with how he's being used in the offense, is what they were saying. So yeah, I don't know. Again, we need to figure out, more of what's going on there. The Giants obviously would do their homework if they have interest in him.
Yeah. I think he would be a good fit for this offense just because he'll play all over the place, and he actually blocks as well. He's a little bit of a Mighty Mouse.
Okay, there we go. I like that. And especially in this offense, because we're going to do a lot of running, guys. Expect a lot of running. So we got a couple of depth pieces here, wide receiver wise, to look at. And then after that, we're going to cut to pay the bills here. So here's one that I think people will not be too happy about when I first bring up the name. So hear me out. Marquise Hollywood Brown, who's still just 28 years old. Like, I feel like he's played for like 30 years in the NFL. Spotrac's got him at $5.52 million a year. He played last year with the Chiefs. So obviously there's the Matt Nagy connection right there. 49 catches, 587 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Also played for Harbaugh back in the Ravens. So he's played for a couple of guys here. Now, here's why I say don't hate it right here for a second. I'm not expecting him as a replacement for Wan'Dale. What I am is I'm looking at him as a guy that we can have as a good depth piece. If you're paying him $5 million, guys, that's not that much. Again, if you're looking for a star, yeah, you'll be disappointed if we lose like Wan'Dale Robinson, all of a sudden Hollywood Brown comes in. Like that'd be a disappointment.
I feel like he'll be misused. I feel like that's just because of the name, the statue. He's going to have to come in at least as a number 2.
I don't think he does. I think he's done with that at this point in his career. I really do. I think that ego is gone with him. He's not exactly young anymore. He has wised up. You haven't heard the issues that he had with, in Arizona with the Ravens, even to a certain degree. Like, none of that. So, like I said, I think he's a good depth piece. I think we need to get one more solid depth piece in here because we can't keep going with. We have, Neighbors. We don't know when he's coming back, if he's going to come back for week 1 or not. We have Wan'Dale. We hope we get back, but we don't know. We have Slayton. So let's say we don't sign Slayton. I would say we don't say Wan'Dale. Is Slayton your number 1 receiver week 1?
No. God, no.
That's what we're staring down the barrel of, guys. And that's why I'm saying you got to go get a veteran guy in here that in a pinch could be a starter. What happens if we sign Wan'Dale, for example? Let's say Wan'Dale gets hurt. Or let's say Neighbors is still out. You're gonna have Wan'Dale and Slayton, or back to what we had last year.
Yeah, I don't expect Neighbors to be completely healthy the first few weeks of football.
No,
play, but yeah, not say he's not going to play, but I don't think that depth's going to be there.
No, and you know what? At a normal team, I probably wouldn't be interested in Hollywood Brown. But with the Giants, I would be because of the Matt Nagy connection, because of the John Harbaugh connection. If those two guys sign off on him, then I'm good. Because here there's 2 people that actually coached him and know him. And if they're okay with it, then yeah, let's go with it. It's a good depth piece. So, and quite frankly, he had a better year than almost all the depth pieces we're going to talk about here. Including, I don't know, people are talking about here people the draft. Don't be wrong. We're going to get a wide receiver in the draft, I have a feeling.
100%.
But we need corner. We need offensive line. We need defensive line. We need – you can't get every need in the draft and plug them and play them start one.
Don't have to spend that moolah.
So, and even if you draft a wide receiver, like say early day 3, like a 4th-round pick or something, that's no guarantee he gets the ground running. You need a veteran. So, next one's Christian Kirk. 29 years old now. Now, I'm not as big on him per se, but I'm just giving you a name that I think people had heard. $5.36 million is what Spotrack's saying his average annual value is going to be. Last year with the Texans, 13 games, 28 catches, 239 yards, and 1 touchdown. That was his only year with the Texans. I feel like he just didn't quite fit what they were looking to do. Not to mention, to be honest,
the offense was terrible last year. No one fit that offense.
They had their own issues. At the same point,
CJ
as well,
Stroud didn't fit that offense.
His last year with the Jaguars, to give you an idea, he only played in 8 games, got injured. 379 yards and a touchdown. So, again, it would have been about 750 yards if he was in the whole season. This is a guy that can put up some yards. He's also, I think, a good fit for the offense, what we're talking about doing. He's very much more of a slot receiver. He's a very short yardage kind of guy. It's like I said, it's an interesting potential option because I think he fits the offense. I think he's a guy who's shown you in the past he can do it. He's just getting towards the end of his career. And you got to question, was last year not a fit with him in Houston? Or is he starting to slow down now that he's going to be going to 30 years old this season coming up?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to take a chance at the guy, like this one, I might be willing to take a little bit more of a chance. I think he was coming off an injury, and he went into a system that did not click with any player whatsoever. They had to put Mills in to get that offensive going.
Yeah.
So that should tell you as much as you need to know when you sit CJ Stroud for Mills. Well, you didn't sit him, but you got to put him in.
And your offense improved.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud actually on the trading block, by the way. They're legit talking about him as being a guy that the Giants might. I said that's not Giants, but the Texans might actually go ahead and trade. That to me is insanity. Who would have thought it'd be there a couple of years later? But I mean, it makes sense considering what they're dealing with. I can't say I exactly blame them when you, like you said, when you see Davis Mills coming in and all of a sudden doing better. That's an issue.
Big time.
So, here's what I'm going to bring up that I've heard people ask about last year, but he became available. So we'll bring him up because he'll be available again. Treylon Burks, who's still just 25 years old. Spotrack's got him at a 3.57 average annual value. Last year with the Commanders, 8 games, 10 receptions, 130 yards, and 1 touchdown. Let's be honest with him what he is. He's a first-round bust.
Yeah, you're really reaching for your death piece with that guy.
This was the guy the Texans traded to get, basically, by giving up A.J. Brown. They got a first-round pick. This is the guy they use the first-round pick with that. So they thought they can just replace A.J. Brown. Don't get me wrong. A.J. Brown's a headache. I get it. There's issues beyond just the money part with him. But obviously that never materialized. So, again, and as Jay says, why are we always dumpster diving? Here's the thing. It's not that you're dumpster diving. You're looking for back end of your roster. When you go to back end of your roster, these guys are back into the roster for a reason. But here's what you can also sit here and say with this guy. 25 years old. The NFL all thought he was a first-round pick just a couple years ago. He has done absolutely nothing. Is there a chance that somebody can coach out of him and make him a little better? Because don't tell me he's not in his head. It'd be in anyone's head. I was a first-round pick. I can't even stay on a goddamn team now.
Yeah,
who do I trust more than Harbaugh to coach that out of him a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, you have retirements in their 1 draft pick, big 1,000-yard receiver. It's not. I doubt that. But you're looking at someone that could be someone that could be your wide 5.
And that's what I'm saying. Don't tell me you can't develop this kid into maybe being a guy who does 300-400 yards a season for you.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is, this won't be a guy that you have all this money and everything built into. If he doesn't work out, you cut him. You cut him. It's that simple. So
Yeah.
sometimes you take the low risk with the potential, let's say, medium-ish reward.
I mean, it's not that big of a risk too, because we're talking about wide receivers. Like we're talking
you're going to spend a little bit.
Now the new guys are like the higher end's $20 million.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are 25. You're talking about someone that's going to ask for $3.5 million.
Oh my God. Jay says, I want Hyatt and Eric Gray to go explore the Titanic in a carbon fiber submarine. You can't say that. We got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
We literally had somebody leave us a bad review on Apple Podcasts because we made that joke. They're like, oh, what if the family listens? Okay. The family should probably stay away from the news when that happened.
You shouldn't be in a submarine that has the PlayStation remote. Just say.
That's exactly what it is. Like if you're using a video game controller to go ahead and get your submarine down to the Titanic, you're probably in the wrong submarine.
Yeah. Unless you're actually playing PlayStation.
That, so therefore, I must be right. Next up, we got two more guys here. The second one, I'll admit, I probably put on there because I know it's going to tick you off. First one, Kendrick Bourne, 30 years old, $3.31 million is what Spotrac is saying would be their average one. This last year with the 49ers, 16 games, 37 catches, 551 yards. I like him for us specifically because of what we talked about earlier with Jackson Dart needing some receivers, and we don't know what's going to happen with Neighbors beginning of the year. We've seen him go in when he has to go in and be a decent receiver. Like, don't get me wrong, he's not a legit great receiver. That's not what he is at this point in his career. What he is a guy that's a low-end starter to a high-end backup.
Which is fair because that was his role last year. And with great coaching, he was able to get that 550 yards.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of really good games. And, that was basically half his career there was against the Rams and against the Bucks. He had 284 yards combined in those two games. That was half a season, basically. But, again, it's a guy you can plug and play in and get something out of potentially. He's not going to be the light the world on fire. He's going to have the occasional really good game. But he's a good option, I think, when you're looking at needing a veteran guy in there that can step up and be a potential starter in case of an injury or in case Neighbors not being ready. And then you have Bourne, Wan'Dale, and Slayton to start. And great. Neighbors is healthy, great. Because first off, we want him healthy. Let's be very clear on that.
Yeah.
Now, Kendrick Bourne becomes your third, fourth receiver. Not bad. Not bad at all. Last guy.
Yeah.
Last guy's purely for the nostalgia. We brought him up before as a potential free agent to bring in. Y'all flipped out. We're doing it again. I don't care.
Another year older.
Sterling Shepard. Bring him back. Bring him back. 33 years old. Spotrac saying $3.31 million last year with the Bucks. 13 games, 39 catches, 371 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, former longtime Giant. It's just for nostalgia. Let's be honest. He has more left in the tank than OBJ.
Yeah, listen. You signed OBJ, you probably get as many yards as Sterling Shepard did last year.
Not even. Look what he did the last 2 years ago with Miami. Nothing. People love to have that conversation. We want the Sterling Shepard conversation, damn it. Oh my gosh. But like I said, there's plenty of guys out there. Plenty of guys out there that could be legitimate additions here to the weapons here. So we still got tight ends to go through. We still got offensive line to go through. So before we do that, we're going to go ahead and pay the bills here real quick because what we do here, guys. So listen, we got to go over, of course, the Buy Me a Coffee, which is one of the ways that really, if you ever like a show, regardless if it's us or not, those the Buy Me a Coffee and the Patreons and all take less money than YouTube does. So I always give people the heads up on that. There is a percentage they do take out. They should. It's a service. We got to give a special shout out also to Jay, who just went ahead and did bought us 5 beers yesterday on that. I'm trying to pull it up my email here, but of course my email doesn't want to, work out for some reason here like it's supposed to. But I was going to actually read what it said here, but of course it's not letting me do it. But one day, technology. But I'll find it here real quick in the Buy Me a Coffee. But anyway, you can do one-time supports on there. You can also go ahead and, of course, do monthly memberships on there as well. Here it is. Jay said, "You guys are rocking. Much more views lately, and the chat's pretty active now. They all want to spam it up with me. Thanks." Exactly. Sir Spam-a-Lot, Jay himself there. And then he says $5 a beer is a good deal. That's how you know he's in California. It's up there in Jersey too. I know. Obviously, living up there. Like now in Florida, it's so cheap here. It's not even funny for a beer. You can go get a beer for like $3.
Yeah, you have to get happy hour specials, and it's got to be domestic light beer,
watered down crap.
Yeah.
And of course, guys,
water.
we still have, of course, the merch store there. The Two Giant Goop Balls shop.fourthball.com. The Let 'em Cook. Yes, the Let 'em Cook. I'm gonna have to buy one myself soon, and I think the Let 'em Cook is the one I'm gonna go with personally. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. But yeah, we of course do have the special still right now. Do any purchase over $100 will automatically get you free shipping as well. Deb asked also, is there still an annual option on Buy Me a Coffee? And yes, there is. Gets you instead of paying monthly, if you do pay the annual, I think it's 2 free months you get of the year, something like that. So yeah, so we did that as well, trying to give people options. So, but of course, we always have the free way of supporting it as well. Is going ahead and hit the like, hit the thumbs up, hit the share, hit all that fun stuff there for you guys on YouTube and all, because that's what really helps get everything going. We got 10 thumbs up right now, 50 of y'all right now in YouTube. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up real quick while you're watching there. So Jay says, I donate a lot, but I can't do it monthly. It's like a mental, I have enough bills. I get it. You're good. Listen, any support.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Any support, like I said, we appreciate it. That never required, always appreciated. We always try to word it that way. So, all right, let's get back to our options here with you guys. We got tight ends to come up here now because, listen, we've talked about it in the show plenty of times. We're not anti-Theo Johnson. We don't necessarily trust Theo Johnson. He's got a whoopsies, whoopsies, dropsies going on here. There's a lot of drop passes. So we got to look at that. Now, here's the other thing we got to consider as well. Let's say, hypothetically, we do lose Wan'Dale Robinson. You saw the list of potentials to replace him. A couple of guys that don't really fit the offense and a guy who's 32 years old. Just saying. May not be the best option. So that's another way of getting potentially a weapon for him, is get him another tight end. And then if Theo Johnson does come around, all of a sudden start catching the ball again, great. You got 2 tight ends. That's not a bad thing to have with Matt Nagy and Greg Roman around. Like they've been known for double tight end sets where they've gone. So that's not an issue at all. There are a lot of better name tight ends that are going to be available this year as well. Kyle Pitts is probably going to get paid the most out of all of them. He's 25 years old. Spotrac's got him at an annual for $10.83 million. Last year with the Falcons, 17 games, 88 catches and 928 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, the big thing with him is, are you okay with getting the Temu version of Darren Waller?
Well, we got that already, so.
Well, no, we got the Darren Waller. We try to make him block and stuff like that. What I'm saying for Pitts is that's what he is. Think of Pitts more like a big slot receiver. That's what he is. He's not a great blocker. He's also ups and downs as far as the performance there to a certain degree. Like some games he looks great, and some games you're like, did he play? So
I mean, he's also been on the Atlanta Falcons, so it's very questionable.
It is, and that's sad that it's a Giants podcast we're saying that because those in glass houses, but
yeah,
it's there. I mean, but I could see him being looked at as a potential option to give him another weapon. Like he would fit better in this offense than Alec Pierce would. And I know people are going to hate me for saying that. I know there's some people that love Pierce. He fits better at what we want to do offensively, and he's half the cost.
Yeah, that's a fair take.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm going to take him because I don't trust him, but it's a fair take. Can we fix him?
And chase this so you can have Pitts or a low-level receiver for $10 million makes no sense whatsoever. This is what Spotrac is giving, okay? That's what we got here. So let's see here. We got next up is a guy that Corky just mentioned here, the guy from Cleveland, David Njoku, 29 years old. They have him at $9.99 million, so basically 10. We'll call it 10. This past year with the Browns, 12 catches, 33 yards, 293 yards, 4 touchdowns. To be honest, I'm not a fan of him. I've always thought he has the occasional great year, and it gives you false hope.
He's the guy. He goes along the line with Pitts. Like sometimes he goes out there and for a game he'll get you to 120 yards, and then get you to 2 touchdowns, and then he won't do anything for 6 weeks.
The thing with Pitts is that he actually does put up some yards. Like Njoku's had 1 year 882 yards. That's 2023. It was his best year. That was his Pro Bowl year. Besides that, he's had 2 years he's hit over 600 yards. That's it.
He's also on the Browns.
I get it. But I'm just saying, I can't sit there and get behind it. He's been with the Browns now for 9 years.
My God.
I've never been a big fan of him. I've always thought he's overrated. And don't get me wrong, he's not a bad player. He is, to me, a mid-level tight end.
I'll give him a bottom round. Like, he goes in and out of that top 10 tight end, receiving-wise. Most of his time that he's been, but he's not reliable because.
But I think
look at last year,
I think it's what you said. People look at him and go, he's on the Browns. That's why, and that's not fair. And as Jay says there in the comments, he's athletically a freak. Like he is. Like this kid is a combined machine. But that doesn't make him great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had the Jimmy Grahams in the role that pretty much changed how people look at tight ends. They're like, oh, as long as you get an athletic tall guy out there that's big bodied, it's going to work.
Now, listen, first off, comparing him to Jimmy Graham.
I wasn't. Let's be very clear.
Yao Ming to Shaq, okay?
I'm being very clear. I was not. But Jimmy Graham was not a tight end per se his whole life. He was more of a basketball player, but he was also a genetic freak that was able to run, jump, and catch the ball. And he got he had a hell of a career.
Yeah. But what I'm just saying is, legitimately, you look at Njoku and you see him working out and you're like, God damn. There's not an ounce of fat in his body. He's as cut as it can be. And that's what I'm saying. People see that and they go, wow, he must be good. He must be strong. He must be great. It doesn't always show up. So,
yeah,
like I said, I'm just not necessarily that impressed with him personally. Like I said, he's not a bad player. I just think he's overrated.
I think it's going to cost too much. I think the Giants they have their tendency to pretty much every draft to pick up another tight end. And I don't know if I want to spend another draft pick on a tight end this year, but at the same time, I would probably take a draft pick over picking on Njoku.
I'm actually with Deb what she said. I wish they would re-sign Bellinger, but I don't think he wants to come back. We've said that before.
Yeah.
I'll say it again. I don't think, and I'll be so happy to be wrong. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
let's be very
if you
clear.
got
I'm
one of
on
these
the
guys
Belly
that we're going
train.
to talk about here, plus get Bellinger back and have Theo Johnson, that'd be a freaking awesome tight end room.
Sign me up.
Done. Next one, we've talked about him a couple of times too, because again, this is the guy that would have that Harbaugh connection there. Isaiah Likely, who 25 years old, $8.81 million they're saying, Spotrac. So last year with the Ravens, again, he was injured, even though he was playing. He wasn't really healthy the full year. 14 games, 27 catches, 307 yards, and 1 touchdown. But again, you got the Harbaugh connection there. And that's why people keep putting him over to us. I almost forgot to say, by the way, Njoku had the Hickey combination as well as again. So he was also during Cleveland's time there. So so there's more and more connections here. But I said Isaiah Likely is that guy that I've said before I wouldn't be shocked at all if we get him. I think it makes a whole lot of sense because he's a receiving tight end who actually can catch the ball.
Yeah, and last year wasn't his best year, but that team was also just banged all up all different ways. Because the year before was
definitely or banged all different ways, were they?
It was like a swinger party, how many ways they were banged up.
There's pineapples everywhere, and they were all upside down.
They were just juggling them upside down pineapples. So it's crazy. I don't know how you catch it on the top part, the plant part. They did.
Carefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I think that it's a pick that I can see the sensibility in. He wouldn't be my top guy.
Yeah,
personally, but I can see with the connection of where they're going there. Now, there's another tight end that I think has a ton of connections to the Giants that for some reason is not being talked about enough. Like I'm going to say this, we're going to mention him. It's the first time we're mentioning him. It's the first time that I've heard any Giant content creator mention him. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't watch them all. I wish I had time to watch everybody and support everybody's shows, but we have our own show we're doing, so that kind of takes a lot of time. Chig Ngakwa. I'm always mispronounce his name, so I apologize to his whole family. 26 years old, $7.96 million is what they're saying at Spotrac there. Played last year with the Titans. Played his whole career with the Titans, in fact, so far. 56 catches, 560 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So,
now,
yeah.
that Titans offense was not a powerhouse last year, but he was one of the top receivers over there. Well, one of the better.
He's been there. Like this kid was not expected to be the guy when he got drafted. Like, you know, we always say draft time comes at like the best guys. A lot of times are like 3rd, 4th, 5th round draft picks when it comes to tight ends. I don't know why. It's just the way it works. So here's a 4th round pick who comes in as a rookie and does 450 yards as a tight end and ends up taking the starting job away.
Yeah.
And since then hasn't given it up pretty much. You know, they don't always have a tight end starting the 3 wide receiver sets with Callahan and all, but Brian Callahan of Callahan Auto Parts, of course, was his head coach in Tennessee. He's now our quarterback's coach. Beyond that, if he was to come here, his position coach is Tim Kelly, who used to be his offensive coordinator back when Vrabel was still there. There's a lot of connections and sensibility with this one. And I like this kid. He's young. Like I said, he's still 26 years old. He's a little cheaper than some of the bigger options you hear out there. He's also much more balanced. And that's what I like. So, like I said, I'm curious if there's any chance there because I don't really ever see that talked about. And I don't know if it's, again, I don't pretend to be the Titans expert. Is it a situation where they think he's going to be back with the Titans no matter what? Because the Titans have the money to pay whoever they want to pay? I don't know. But like I said, it's an interesting option, I think. And like I said, a few $1 million cheaper than some of the bigger options out there. So,
yeah, and it makes sense. He gets out of Tennessee.
Yeah. Now we got to talk about our third buck. Who would have thought we'd have the offensive guys? We're on a third buck. We're not even onto the offensive line yet. And quite frankly, we might take us a little while to get to this. This is taking longer than I expected already. Kate Otten, still just 26 years old, $7.91 million is what they're saying. Spotrac is saying he'd be. Last year with the Bucks, 16 catches, 16 games, 69 catches, 572 yards, and 1 touchdown. Very well liked, I can tell you guys, in Tampa Bay. Very well liked. I think they'd be pretty upset if they lost him, that's for sure. But with free agents, you never know where the heart is. So, solid one. And again, a guy doesn't break the bank to get. That's where, unfortunately, I don't want to say bargain bin shopping, but I don't think necessarily top of the line is where we can go.
Yeah,
especially because if we do sign Wan'Dale, you might go, okay, well, and I'd hope you would say, okay, well, Pitts is too much money, Njoku's too much money, even likely he's going to want a lot of money. Maybe try to go a cheaper option. Maybe Kate Otten's the guy.
I mean, if you have to go between Kate Otten and Okonkwo, I might have to go Okonkwo.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. He got the name. He's all proud of himself. He's like doing a head bobbing as he says it. For those who don't know, Rob is the guy who avoids any name that's more than 2 syllables. I mean, like I said, I like him because I think Okonkwo, you can sit there and say wasn't necessarily the best offense, and you can say there's room for growth because of that. He hasn't necessarily been playing with the best of quarterbacks, but again, there's room for growth because of that. But Kate Otten's still a solid choice. That's what he is. He's a solid player.
Yeah,
not a great player, not an amazing player. He's a solid player.
Yeah, he's not going to embarrass himself out there or the Giants if he comes over here. It's just you're going to pay a bang for your buck, Yep.
Exactly what he is. One more option that I cannot. Listen, I'm going to say this because I know Jay's been calling me out on the Spotrac and what they've been saying. I'm going to call BS and Spotrac on this one myself, but I'm using their numbers. This is the numbers I have options to. I can call Joe Shane and tell him what he thinks. Dallas Goedert, 31 years old now. They're saying in Spotrac just $6 million a year. I love taking from division rivals.
Yeah.
Because you weaken a player, a team you're gonna play twice a year. So 31 years old. That's why maybe he's a little cheaper. I don't know. So, but this past year with the Eagles is 15 games, 60 catches, 591 yards, 11 touchdowns. 11 touchdowns. That's like half the touchdowns the Eagles got with their pitiful offense this year. Now, the past 7 years, he's had 24 combined. So don't think he's like this double-digit, TD guy. He's not. That's just his by far best season. He only got a third of his career touchdowns in one of his 8 seasons. So there is also the connection there that he was drafted by the Eagles during Brandon Brown's time there. So there there is definitely the connection there. So, we'll see. Like I said, it'd be an interesting option because you weaken the Eagles in the process. I love weakening the Eagles. So, yeah. All right. We got tackles here. We got tackles. And I see you all talking already about Jermaine Illuminor. Again, we've said on the show a couple times, we think Jermaine Illuminor will be heading for the hills of Tennessee. He'll be in the Smokies because they have all the money to offer him in the world. And he wants to get paid. He's already said, I want $18-20 million. Sorry, guys. He ain't worth $18-20 million.
Yeah. Bye.
I would pay him maybe 15. But that's probably the end of it there.
That's a cat.
Here's the top 2 guys that are available that are specifically right tackles. Taking, obviously, Illuminor out of the picture. Braden Smith, 29 years old. They're saying $13.53 million is what Spotrac is saying. Played last year with the Colts. 65.3 PFF grade, 71.9 on the pass, 58 on the run. So yeah, obviously much better on the pass than he is on the run. To give you guys apple to apple comparison, Jermaine Illuminor, 63.8 PFF, 76.7 pass, 55.1 on the run. So very close.
Save yourself $5 million.
Very, very close. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be honest here at the fact that Spotrac is giving us that. Who knows how much of that? Like I just don't know where Harbaugh's head's at, too. Or Illuminor. Again, we've said before, Illuminor followed Brasillo from New England to the Raiders to the Giants. Now Illuminor is probably going to follow him to the Tennessee Titans. So I know you guys are sitting there saying we need to have him back, but that's not our decision. That's not even the Giants' decision. Dobby's a free elf. He can go where he wants to go. Okay? And that's why I'm saying to you guys, we need to look at options because I really do think Illuminor is going to be a Titan. So second option. This guy was considered the second best starting right tackle available for agency. And I got to say, guys, I'm not impressed. I want no part of this.
No.
Jonah Williams, 28 years old, 10.33 million is what they're saying. This last year with the Cardinals, 55.4 PFF grade, 53.5 pass, 56.9 run. Who do you say pass? Right? Pass?
Yeah.
Okay, we're moving on. Pass.
Pass.
People are talking about him, but yeah, I'm good. Now, there's a couple guys I'm interested for depth-wise that could also compete potentially with whether it be a rookie, whether it be Marcus Bowe, whoever, if we also lose Illuminor as we're expecting, or if hypothetically we keep Illuminor, maybe they're just good depth pieces in general. Josh Jones, 28 years old. Spotrac's got him at $3.4 million for his average annual salary. Last year with the Seahawks, so won a Super Bowl there with them, obviously. Only played in 258 snaps. 74.3 PFF grade, 71.9 in the pass, and 70.3 in the run. Been a starter before. I'd be curious to bring him in for, at the very worst, depth piece. Every year there's issues. Let's be honest, we have Andrew Thomas. I know he was healthy for most of this year, guys. Remember how many people are pissed off at the beginning of the year? He's always hurt. He's always hurt. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. Now, let's be very clear. We're not saying get rid of him. What we're saying is you need a backup plan when you have Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, it's someone that allows you not to embarrass yourself while you put him in there and possibly maybe move him around a little bit.
Yeah. So, now there's another name out there who is got some connection to the Giants. Larry Borum, 26 years old. Spotrac's got him at $2.42 million. Played with the Dolphins last year. 60.7 PFF, 67.1 against the pass, 50 when predicted the pass, 54.4 when going run blocking. Now he played for Matt Nagy in Chicago, so there is a connection there. 73 games under his belt, 38 starts. So again, I think that's a decent depth guy with a background, going to have some knowledge in the offense, obviously from playing with Nagy at that point, and not too cheap, not too expensive. So I'm there. That's not a bad option there. All right, let's get to the guards. We got a lot of guards to go for. We're already an hour 10 in.
Oh my.
Let's go. Rob just saw the list of guards. He's like, damn, there was a lot of good guards this year.
Yeah.
A lot of good guards this year, guys. So we'll kind of do a little rapid fire on this one here. So again, John Runyon Jr. He's got one more year in his contract. We've said it before. He is a potential cap hit. You know, they may just cut him at that point and save the $9 million. Can't blame him if they do. He's not that great necessarily. But do you want the stability? Because he's been here now the last 2 years. He's usually pretty healthy. Got the first year with us was hurt, but otherwise that was his only injury he's had his whole career, basically. So Greg Van Roten obviously is a free agent. Again, we want to keep Greg Van Roten. We would pay him like $5 million, which is twice what he get paid last year, practically. But again, does he want to go to Carmen Porcello? He played for the Raiders, then went to the Giants. The only time he's been successful in the NFL, guys, let me be very clear on this, is with Carmen Porcello. Those may remember that he was a decent signing for the Jets, started for them, and they despised the way he played. Like, they booed him out of the city. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know, guys. That's the problem. We have to have these contingency plans. So we don't know. So, David Edwards is probably the top one out there, 28 years old. Going to be Spotrax at $19.9 million. Played with the Bills last year, 71.4 PFF, 73 protecting the pass, 69 protecting the run. Too expensive. We're moving on, right?
Yep, let's go.
Ed Ingram, 27 years old, $12.99 million. Played last year with the Texans. He is the opposite of most of our linemen from last year because he had a 71.5 PFF grade, but 55.2 against the pass, 75.6 against the run. I want no part of somebody who can't pass block with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, protect the quarterback. That's the future.
We're moving on again. Joel Bitonio. I should know how to pronounce his Italian name here. A little DeVito symbol.
Bitonio.
34 years old. Definitely a lot older. That's for sure. $12.9 million is what they're saying. Played with the Browns last year. 70.7 PFF grade. 75.7 against the pass. 64.4 against the run. Here's the interesting connection. Last year I said he played for the Browns. Well, who was the Browns offensive line coach last year? Our offensive line coach that we got, Mike Bloomgren. So there's the connection. Now, not a lot of people played very good. Very clear with that. Not a lot of people played very good for the Browns. So I don't know. Maybe you bring him on because he succeeded with Bloomgren. But if I'm paying $12.9 million for him, I might as well keep Van Roten. I might as well keep Runyon. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
That's what I'm thinking there. So, let's see here. Next is Elijah Vera Tucker, 26 years old. Spotrac saying $12.83 million. Listen, that didn't play a snap for the Jets. Has never been healthy for the Jets. Except the occasional time he plays, it looks good, and then people get excited again. I'm good. We've had enough injury prone. Right? I mean,
yeah. Let's keep moving. We already got one injury prone guy that he's great when he's on the field, but availability. Let's go.
Yeah, like I said, I'm good. Zion Johnson, 26 years old, $11.26 million. You're saying, 57 PFF grade last year, 60.6 against the pass, 53.4 against the run. Played under Jim Harbaugh, obviously, with the Chargers. Had an off year last year. He's much better usually than that. And those remember when we played them, he had injuries. Basically, if you played offensive line for the Chargers, you had injuries. So I don't say you give him
a pass. And then their backups had injury.
Yeah, like I'm not going to say you give him a pass on that, but I'm going to say that maybe you hope that he's cheaper because of that. Maybe you can sign him to a decent deal. I don't know, but possibility there. I mean, you're going to have, again, John's going to talk to Jim on him if they're interested. He's going to know everything going on. So could be potential. Here's one that I want no part of that I keep hearing people talk about. So we got to bring him up. Daniel Falele. Always going to mispronounce that one as well. I had to apologize a lot of families today. There's been a few names that we got one more coming too. 26 years old.
Right.
They say $10.52 million is what they're expecting for him to get. Last year with the Ravens, 56.8 PFF, 60.1 pass, 53.5 against the run. Again, played for John Harbaugh and the Ravens. Again, Ravens didn't have a great line, guys. I want no part of him.
Yeah,
$10 million is way overpaid for him. Way overpaid. I'm good. I'd rather go draft somebody and hope he is better.
Yeah, on to the next.
Next, Wyatt Teller, 31 years old, sending to say you get $10.17 million. Played last year again with the Browns. You already know the connections we're going to talk about there. 62.2 PFF grade, 53.1 pass, 65.7 run. So I like the idea of him. I don't like necessarily the cost, but I like the idea. Again, played for Mike Bloomgren over there with the Browns. He was extended by Hickey. Again, Hickey was with the Browns for a while there. So he was extended by him during his time there. He was actually drafted by the Bills during Joe Shane's time there. So, like I said, I think that's an interesting thing to keep an eye on. There's a lot of connections here. Usually there's a lot of connections, at least the conversation. Again, decent player too, but not amazing. And he's also not the best pass blocker. So that's the concern for me. But I can see the connection to go.
If you're talking depth, that's one thing. But like aside from that, I'm like,
he's not depth guy. He's a starter all day long.
Yeah.
But if you lose Runyon, you lose Van Roden, and he wants to play and the price is right, it wouldn't be the worst move. I just wouldn't love it, Wouldn't hate it, wouldn't love it. Dylan Parham, 26 years old, $10.06 million, they're saying. Played for the Raiders last year, 63.6 PFF, 62.3 pass, and 63.1 on the run. Again, just a body. Nothing special. $10 million kind of the going right now for a starting guard, unfortunately. I hate to say it. Is what it is there, but that's what it is.
Inflation.
Yeah. Trevor Penning, also 26 years old, $9.87 million. We finally went under $10 million. Played with the Chargers last year. Again, Chargers, everybody was injured. 53.5 PFF grade, 52.5 against the pass, 56.9 against the run. Played under Jim Harbaugh. Again, I'm not as big a fan on him as I was with the potential for getting Zion instead, because Zion actually had some good years. Penning was basically a failed tackle that got moved to guard. So if you want to go ahead and get the Saints version of Evan Neal,
pass.
Yeah, I'm good. You know what it is? I'll go. He's Flowers. He's had some success as a guard, so I'll give him that. He's Flowers. Here's got two veteran options here real quick that I think are interesting. Isaac Seumalo. I always mispronounce his too. I have so many families. I apologize today. 32 years old, $9.6 million. Played last year with the Steelers. 74.8 PFF grade, 78.5 against the pass, 68.2 against the run. Played for the Eagles also during Brandon Brown's time there. He's somebody that I would take in a heartbeat. Yeah, get the right price. He's still young enough. He can be there for a couple of years. He's been solid. He's been part of winning teams. And you already have somebody on the inside, so you know what kind of person he is.
Yeah, I'd be interested in quarterback. It would tickle my fancy, if you will.
Ooh. That's a children's show here. Got to be nice, not say things. Children could be watching.
Hey, now.
No, if anybody
has a submarine out of this.
If anybody has their children watching, don't we see all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
One last one. And this is kind of like everything else falls apart. We need a guy. He's a solid guy. He's a veteran guy. He's a former Giant. Kevin Zeitler. 35 years old now. Spotrack's got about $9 million. $9 million. Last year with the Titans, 74.5 PFF grade, 75.4 pass, and 70.8 against the run. Again, obviously former Giant. Obviously also went ahead and was coached by Callahan during his time there with the Titans.
This is another one that
better version of Van Roden.
That's another
right?
one that would tickle my fancy.
He's a better version of Van Roten at this point. Same age, time frame kind of thing, but much better player. But he's going to cost you more money too. So, and we should also mention that there's some bad blood potentially from him from the Gettleman days when he was with the Giants.
Well,
I was very happy we got him. He was a solid player for the Giants. I was surrounded by crap. So, but I like him. I like the option. We got 2 centers real quick to talk about, and then we're going to be calling it a day here pretty much. Tyler Linderbaum, we've already talked about him enough. 25 years old, $7.72 million. Spotrac saying, again, 80.3 PFF grade, 60.3 pass, 83.7 run. Played for John Harbaugh, played for Greg Roman. We already know all the connections there. One other one. Ethan Posick, 30 years old, $10.59 million. Spotrac is saying, played for the Browns last year, 63.8 PFF grade, 62.2 against the pass, 63.2 against the run. Again, played for Mike Bloomgren. Signed also by Cleveland during Hickey's time there as well. So, again, if you're going to look at Linderbaum as center and potentially move on from JMS or move him to guard, Posick is another guy you can look at as potential for that. So,
fair.
We're going to need offensive line depth. Obviously, there's so many people I can go over there. It's not even freaking funny. So, we're not going to go down that list. Just giving you guys the heads up. They'll be there. We'll have to get somebody, whether it's re-sign people we have or go get people there. We're going to have to do it. So, one side note here before we go.
Was silly twist of fate over here.
Yeah. So the Giants hired assistant defensive line coach Matt Robinson, who also coached with the Ravens there for Harbaugh as well. He is apparently leaving us already for greener pastures. He's been here a week. And it's time to go. So he's going to the Raiders.
Coach staff is gone.
He's going to the Raiders to go ahead and become their secondary coach. Harbaugh didn't even try to block the move. It is considered a step up, even though it is another position there. But he wouldn't be the assistant secondary coach. He'd be the secondary coach. So that's not going to be anything that we have to be upset about. I don't think he qualifies for the once a Giant, always a Giant when you're there for 1 week, but
maybe.
Yes. You'll never buy a beer in New York again. But like I said, it's one more move we're going to have to make now. And an assistant defensive line coach isn't exactly the greatest. And it's JSIS, Raiders greener pastures. Well, when you're becoming assistant defensive line coach to the whole entire secondary, not corners, not safeties, the whole secondary, yes, that's a better position. Plus, see, there's all the buffets there. You know how much we love a buffet here.
Yeah, go the crowds from out there.
Yes.
Well, probably Arizona, but that's besides the point.
Well, they have the casino buffets, which aren't what they used to be, but they still have some good ones out there. So, but yeah, it is what it is there. So listen, guys, that's gonna call it a night for us here. We've gone through a ton of names here for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. Where are we at as far as our thumbs up before we leave? Do we have a lot of thumbs up? We got 22 thumbs up, guys. Real quick before we leave, if you haven't already, you got 57 of you all right now in YouTube. Do me a favor and go ahead and hit that thumbs up before you leave here, guys. We'll be, as of course, live again for you guys on Wednesday as well. For those who are setting the calendar there, best way though is to hit that subscribe, hit that share button though, hit that bell. Again, we're gonna be back for you guys Wednesday. We're always live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we are on YouTube, the preferred platform, along with, of course, Facebook, X, which I think they're fixing their streaming thing, but they're kind of a weird streaming thing going on there. So you guys have to keep an eye out there. And then with that, of course, we're on Twitch and, of course, Rob's favorite,
my
LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. We're also updating our stuff as they're after. Unfortunately, to do it after it comes out. The way it works is behind the scenes is weird with Spotify. But the next day, whenever we can get to it, we update the audio to video as well. So that'll be available there for you guys as well. Even the news broke today that Apple is going to be doing potentially live streaming and video and stuff like that there soon. So keep an eye out for that. we're already looking at the options for potentially having to switch hosting companies for the audio podcast, so we can do that kind of stuff with y'all as well. So, like I said, it's definitely something we'll be looking at there. We want to make sure we include every avenue we possibly can, pretty much. So, again, appreciate you guys for listening in. Appreciate you guys for watching. We'll be back again for you guys here Wednesday, talking about defense and players that we can pick up on defense. And of course, just to take Jay off, we're going to use all the SPO-Track numbers. Use them all. But again, appreciate you guys for watching with us there. We'll see you guys Wednesday night there. And as always, go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.